seated. Now's the time when we have question and answer or comments or anything that you want to talk about. Yes.
Solomon, I was wondering if you could say a bit more about the passage you read that described the fermentation process. One of the things that struck me is it talked about the separation, and that's normally what I associate with fermentation, but I think it also talked about a conjunction, which is not something I normally think of when I'm thinking of fermentation.
Yeah.
And so is it that the separation comes first? We're separating the truth from the falsity, and then the conjunction follows that, and it's a conjunction of good and truth?
Right. It would be the separation of things that do not belong together, evil and false, or evil and goodness, truth and falsity, and then the uniting of things that do belong together, goodness and truth. This is actually very similar to the processes that happen in the world of spirits with people as well. There's a process where people are just all mixed up together in the world of spirits. You have good and evil spirits just living together the way good and evil people live here in the world. And then there's a process there of you need to separate those people because that's an important part of the process. And then that actually helps the people that are headed to heaven to continue to unite their will and understanding in their minds. So yeah, there's both things going on there. And I imagine in the case of bread, it would be, I don't actually know, but I imagine it would be once those dregs have fallen away, it actually probably helps the rest of the recipe of the bread sort of stick together, which is what you want. Yes?
You had mentioned that the baking of the bread kills the leaven, or the yeast, I guess.
Yep.
You used leaven back then, it's the same thing as yeast, I guess? Or...
Same thing as yeast. I meant to say that more often in the sermon, but yeah.
But what I'm thinking about the baking, what really occurs on baking is the heat. Is it the heat then that kills it? What is heat? Heat to me represents God's love.
Right, and it's kind of strange because it seems like almost a destructive sort of thing. And it can sometimes feel that way. If we're in a bad place, we don't necessarily want the Lord near us. And it can feel like, whoa, that's a little intense for me. But it actually is the Lord's love, and it's an intense love that sort of knocks that evil out of us. And then, once we're baked into that bread in the image of the Lord, it's fine. But yeah, there's that, it's called the doctrine of visitation. When the Lord comes closer to us, it sort of makes things go into this state of there's wrestling, there's conflict, last judgments happen when the Lord comes close. But it's all for the purpose of separating things that don't belong together, uniting things that do. So yeah, it's the intense heat of his love. Yes?
One thought, you talk about it knocking evil sort of out of us, and it makes me think of the passages in the writings where it talks about how evil's never fully removed from us, it's just brought to the periphery, or it loses its power, the Lord protecting us from it. So I think about in bread and in wine, or like beer or something, the yeast is just killed, but it's still there. So
Right.
we're still, you drink it when it's in wine, or eat it when it's in bread, but it doesn't have its power. It's not really fermented.
Exactly, and it actually still gives it flavor, and we like that. We like the flavor of leavened bread, but it's killed. It's put in its proper place, I guess. Other thoughts or questions? All right. Well, we have refreshments in the community hall, and I'll see you there.